Hello, here we are in TrainSim World, and in the lower left corner you see I have an inset video of a Thrustmaster Warthog Throttle and a Logitech Saitek Throttle Quadrant. The purpose of this video is to talk about how I mapped these controllers to work in TrainSim World. TrainSim World does not support game controllers. It only supports using a keyboard and an Xbox controller, but does not support controllers like these that have analog axes levers. In order to make this work, you have to use what's called access to keyboard mapping. Maybe if you have tried this with different successful or unsuccessful results, but the concept is that as you move the axis, it presses a keyboard key. So the throttle is A and D. So move a key, move the lever, press a key, move the lever, it presses a key, press a key, press a key, press a key, and it does it at certain points along the way or a certain number of times through the full travel. The problem with why that doesn't work very well is that keeping them in sync is difficult. Move the lever too quickly, you might get out of sync, or different levers require different lengths of presses or different numbers of presses depending on what range of the lever you're in, and I'll show that in a moment. So I use the Thrustmaster Warthog because it has a much more advanced programming language to configure access to keyboard mapping. It's called the target scripting language, and it is a C programming language. It's a C-like programming language. So in order to do this, I had to use more than just the standard commands that Target provides, but I had to also write some of my own routines in C to make this work, which is why the Warthog will work a lot better than the Saitek. You could do this kind of thing with other controllers, like for example, many of you have rail drivers and you'd like to use them. Dovetail will probably eventually get around to supporting these, hopefully sooner than later, but for now there is no support. You could use a program called Auto Hotkeys, for example, and it would have the ability to do access to keyboard mapping. And Auto Hotkeys is actually a programming language which is powerful enough to do this as well as I've done it here, but it takes time to program, and it will take more time to do it in Auto Hotkeys than using Target. Sadly, I don't have a rail driver, so I chose to do this with my Warthog and do this demonstration video. All the files I'm referring to are available with the link in the description. The target script for the Warthog, the profiles I did for the Saitek, documentation to show how to install it and use it. If you've never used Thrustmaster's target language, that's fine. You can just load my script and it will work. Or you can read through the documentation and learn about it, and even go through and modify things to fit your tastes. You may not like some of the ways I've set up the switches to do things like this is the windshield wiper for me, or the horn, or the AWS resetter for the safety systems. Maybe you don't like that, you can change that. It's not too difficult to do in the target script. But for this video, I'm mostly going to focus on the levers, the analog axes levers, because that was really the primary thing that was difficult to set up. So here we are in the Class 43 HST. The HST has the reverser, it has the throttle, and it has the brake. On the Thrustmaster, this is the reverser, this is the throttle, this is the brake. First, we need to unlock the key. I have a switch to do that. So we unlock the key, and you notice that the lever was not synchronized with the one in the sim, but now it is. And that's the point I'm going to talk about a couple times, is you have to synchronize the levers to make sure they're correct. Both of these are all the way forward, and that matches the two levers in the sim. The reverser is now matched with the sim, so we're good to go. This is the throttle lever and the brake lever. Now you notice there's lag or delay. That's unavoidable, and in fact it's a good thing to see that, but it's unavoidable. It's the way TrainSim World works. I would obviously prefer that it not be that way, but I say it's a good thing because it means that TrainSim World is matching the Warthog correctly, perfectly. And that's what was difficult to do. That's what required the custom programming. If I move this lever back and forth, there's a lag, but it will always track the lever on the Warthog. Why is there a delay? Because now I'm going to use the keyboard. A, D, D, D. You can't just tap the key. You have to press and hold it a moment. Press and hold it, press and hold it, press and hold, press and hold, press and hold. That's what the Warthog is doing. It presses and holds the key for the amount of time required to move one position, but not accidentally move two positions. So the only way it's going to move two positions like it just did is because I actually moved the lever two positions. And that's the point of keeping them in sync. The delay is because of the amount of time it takes to press and hold for each position on the lever. Hopefully that's clear. If not, we'll go through some other examples. So we put the reverser forward, pull the brake all the way back, and give it some throttle. So it takes like anything, it takes a little bit getting used to. I mean, I'm using levers. I'm not looking at the levers with my hand as I do this. But that's the whole point, is I want the tactile feel of having a physical lever. I can reach over, grab the lever, and control the train while I'm focused on what's going on out in front of me. That's why I don't like using the keyboard to do this with. So let's go to another engine to show an example.